Welcome back to High Stakes. Today, we will be discussing the following NFL matches that is happening on Sunday, September 10th, 2023. We will be providing our team, total and prop picks for the day. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. If you want access to our premium picks, you can check out our Patreon page. You can find the link to our Patreon page in the description and comments section below. Arizona Cardinals vs Washington Commanders. Our team pick is Washington Commanders -6 points. The Washington Commanders are stepping into the 2023 season with renewed vigor and a meticulously crafted strategy under the guidance of offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. The quarterback conundrum presents an exciting dynamic with both Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett vying for the spotlight, each bringing a unique set of strengths to the table. Bieniemy, known for his attention to detail and uncompromising pursuit of excellence, is expected to leverage the potential of these quarterbacks to redefine the Commanders' offensive dynamics. Logan Thomas is anticipated to have a breakout year, with the tight end position being a focal point in Bieniemy's philosophy. The offensive line, perceived as a potential area of weakness, is expected to see reinforcements, transforming it into a formidable strength. On the defensive front, the Commanders are building on a solid foundation laid in the previous season under defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio. The defense stands as a beacon of hope, a unit that promises to keep the Commanders in contention in every game, providing a solid foundation for victories. The synergy between the experienced coach Ron Rivera and Del Rio is expected to craft a defense that is both resilient and dominant, ready to carve out a new identity, one game at a time. The Commanders hold the advantage of playing at home and possess a defense that has demonstrated its strength in the previous season. On the contrary, the Cardinals are undergoing a rebuilding phase, with significant expectations placed on quarterbacks Joshua Dobbs and rookie Clayton Tune. While the Cardinals have displayed glimpses of a potential resurgence, the Commanders appear to have a more stable unit, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. These factors, including home field advantage and defensive consistency, provide the Commanders with an upper hand in this matchup. Considering the current dynamics, the betting lines favoring the Commanders by 6 points appear reasonable, making it a prudent choice to bet on the Commanders to cover the spread. Our total pick is under 39 points. Given the defensive strengths of the Commanders and the Cardinals still finding their feet under new management, a game with a lower scoreline seems more probable. The under 39 prediction is based on the anticipation that the defenses might have an upper hand in this game, with both teams focusing on a cautious approach to start their campaign. The Commanders' defense, which has been their stronghold, is expected to keep the Cardinals' offensive unit in check, leading to a game where the total score will likely fall under the predicted 39 points. Cincinnati Bengals vs Cleveland Browns. Take the Bengals giving the points. The Bengals return for another run at an AFC title, and it all starts with an offense that averaged 360.5 yards and 26.1 points a year ago. Out of the gate, they return one of the best passing attacks in the league. Joe Burrow, recently made the richest player in history, enters the season a little banged up, nursing a right calf strain, which could slow his mobility in the pocket a bit. The Bengals QB finished fourth in MVP voting last year after throwing for 4,475 yards and 35 touchdowns. Burrow is undeniably the cog that gets the engine running smoothly, but he also benefits from a squad of highly talented receivers, including Ja'Marr Chase, 87 catches, 1,046 yards, 9 TDs in 2022, and T. Higgins, 74 catches, 1,029 yards, 7 TDs. Last year's Bengals defense was middle of the pack, allowing 335.7 yards and 20.1 points per game. They have added to it former Rams safety Nick Scott and resigned middle linebacker Jermaine Pratt to shore things up in the middle. Defensive end Joseph Ossai was not a practice participant as of Thursday due to an ankle injury, leaving his status for Sunday in doubt. Logan Wilson will also be locking things down across the middle and all over, to be honest. Last season, the linebacker led the team with 123 tackles, which was tied for 28th in the league. In their previous encounter, the Bengals managed to break a 5-game losing streak against the Browns, even though they maintained a 6-4 advantage against the spread over their last 10 meetings. Joe Burrow's performance in that game was decent, as he threw for 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. However, Joe Mixon had a standout performance, amassing 96 rushing yards on 14 carries. Cincinnati aims to once again challenge the Browns' defensive front and assess their resilience. Burrow may be somewhat restricted due to calf issues, but his offensive line is expected to provide him with ample time to connect with his many offensive weapons. Notably, the Browns have a history of struggling in season openers, with a record of 2-21-1 since 1998, which includes a 13-game home losing streak. This trend is unlikely to change in their upcoming matchup. Take the under 47.5 points. When they met last in December of 2022, they combined to score just 33 points. That game featured the same total that is on this, putting the under at 2-1 over the last 3 meetings. That seems shocking when you think about all of the weapons on offense, on both sides, but both of these teams had 6 of their last 10 go under last season. When these two teams line up against each other, things definitely tighten up a bit and yards are harder to come by. Also, with it being the opener game of the season, you can expect the offenses, which didn't get a lot of game action together in the preseason, to be a bit slow to get going. Green Bay Packers vs Chicago Bears. Take Green Bay plus 1 point. After the departure of Aaron Rodgers, we have entered the Love era. Jordan Love takes over after not only Aaron Rodgers, but Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, and several others departed in the offseason. The Packers received the number 13, number 42, and number 207 picks of this past draft, while also receiving a second-round pick in next year's draft for the number 15 and number 170 picks of this past draft. They used those selections to draft L.B. Lucas Van Ness, T. Luke Musgrave, and K. Anders Carlson. Matt LaFleur is still at the helm as head coach for the Packers, and he has had nothing but success since he came over. This will be a new challenge for him, along with doing better than one playoff win every season. Love looked decent in the preseason, so we'll see how he performs when the games actually matter. The Packers ranked 17th in yards per game, 337.9, 14th in points per game, 21.8, and 17th in passing yards per game, 213.6, and 15th in rushing yards per game, 124.3. Clearly, this was an average offense with Aaron Rodgers under center. Jordan Love is hoping to change that. In his limited action last year, Love completed 14 21st passes for 195 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Jones is still the lead back for the Packers after rushing for 1,121 yards on 213 carries with a pair of touchdowns. A.J. Dillon completed the dynamic duo in the rushing attack, leading the team with 7 touchdowns and rushing for 770 yards on 186 carries. While leading receiver Allen Lazard departed, this gives opportunities for recently drafted Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs to shine. Watson was second on the team last year with 611 yards and led the team with 7 touchdown passes. Aaron Jones was a threat in the passing game as well with 59 receptions, 395 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Watson, hamstring, is out this game, and Doubs, hamstring, is questionable. This matchup between the Packers and the Bears is arguably one of the most evenly matched encounters between these two teams in recent years. Aaron Rodgers had consistently dominated the Bears during his tenure as a Packer, but now Bears fans are beginning to see a brighter future. This game holds significant importance for the Bears as they seek to establish themselves as a legitimate and competitive team this season. Nevertheless, my confidence remains in the Packers to uphold their long-standing tradition of winning against the Bears on a near-annual basis. The Bears may require some time to adapt to their new offensive and defensive schemes. Jordan Love has shown promise in the preseason, and given his time backing up Aaron Rodgers for multiple years, he is likely to have absorbed valuable knowledge from him. I anticipate that the connections between Love, Watson, and Doubs will be a consistent factor throughout the season as they continue to build chemistry. While both sides may encounter some growing pains, I still harbor reservations about the Bears' defense's ability to make crucial stops when needed. Our total pick is over 42 points. There will be some growing pains, but as the game goes on, the offenses will start to click and get their groove together. Both teams have a lot to prove at the quarterback position. Fields needs to prove to his haters that he is a good passer to go with his running ability. Love needs to prove that he is a capable quarterback who can lead the Packers like his predecessors before him. Both defenses last year were not all that great, so we can expect these two teams to figure out each other's defense toward the later stages of the game. I expect both teams to reach at least 20 points in this contest, leading me to take the over.